Hello, good morning, happy Thursday. How you all doing today? We have a cat today. Although I think he's a little bit restless. Xilbe, you want to play? Which thing do you want to play with? Play with this thing? You want me to throw it? I don't know if you want me to throw it. Okay, yeah. It's the stare at it while it goes. Okay, how about this thing? All right, let's see what we're working on today. I believe it's a continuation of writing the article for path variables and segments and all that fun stuff. Axum Path. All right, so we have extracting path variables. Okay, so note that we don't need to tell the router what the type ID is going to be. We'll handle that in the route handler. So far, let's add a route. Okay, let's put this together maybe. Put this together. Add a route to, or maybe just so this would in the router. This will look like pretty much like this. Oh, frozen Xilbe. I need to figure out what's going on with this camera. Let me try. Let's see. What are we doing? We have. I have everything set to sort of like default with the camera. That doesn't seem to work very well. So let's try setting the resolution. See if that's any better. All right, so we have our create router. In the router, this will look like this. Let's focus on extracting the capture in the route handler. Axum Axum has an extractor named Path. Wonder if I can do this, and then we'll head to the documentation for that extractor. Stacking, hello. Look at Mr. First time playing fantasy and destroying the draft. I did not do anything at all. I just let it auto. I have no idea what I'm doing. So is that good or bad? I assume it's good, right? Okay. That didn't work with the camera. All right, let's see. So that resolution didn't work. Maybe color space, color range. Okay, buffering. Let's enable buffering. See if that's any better. Oh, that like immediately froze. Okay, buffering disabled. Try that for a bit. Oh, I won big time. Awesome. Hey, it's all clearly it's all skill and like planned, right? Skill and planned. All right. So do you want to face the camera? Oh, apparently as I moved it, it decided to freeze the cameras. That's cool. Okay, so buffering wasn't it. Let's try that one. Let's see. Musashi, hello. I have no idea, and I'm not logged into it on this computer, so I don't actually know who I have because I woke up this morning and all I give myself time for in the morning is just to basically rush through my morning routine and come here and start streaming. So I haven't like logged into any device or anything like that besides what you see here. So I have no idea. Usually I check that kind of stuff after the stream. I do find that it would be hilarious if I just do the bare minimum and just win everything. All right, let's see, what were we doing? I do remember being at various workplaces that have done drafts and people complaining about everybody who's like, oh, they didn't even try, and like they just won everything. They just used random choices. Or I remember there was one person, she said that she always used She always chose the uniform designs that she liked the most, and that was it. That was her method of choosing who to go with for whichever sport it was. It didn't matter. Okay, so we want. I'm gonna go to Axum Crate. And we are going to find the path extractor, which I believe is this. So let's throw this in here. So Axum has an extractor named Path, which works very similar to how the JSON. Yeah, so extract has here. Do you have, okay, so structs. Yeah, so here's path. You don't have a JSON extractor here. Interesting. Oh, because it's on a feature, so it's a re-export. Interesting. Okay. Also, JSON extracts the body, so I actually shouldn't say. It works very similar to that. So, okay, so Axum has an extractor named Path, which is a tuple struct that can use to extract the contents of the segment capture defined in the routes file. Also, I don't know if I remember if I said good morning to you, Musashi, but good morning, hello. How are you doing today? I don't remember if I said the same thing to you second too. So also, good morning, and how are you doing? We just jumped right into the NFL and apparently how I won at the draft that I let the computer auto pick for me. The computers must like me today. Okay. We could define it in the routes file. Okay, so to use it, we need to in the case of a of the ID being an I64, we can extract the value with is not what I wanted. I wanted to do that. Okay, we can extract the path value with path ID : path I64. Due to the, let's see, this can be positioned anywhere in the function signature. I guess like route handler signature, as long as anything that it's underscore for italics, right? So consumes the body is last. Let's see. For example, the JSON signature. So, for example, the JSON extractor. So we can link to this now. Extractor consumes the body. Therefore, anything after it must be, I guess like nothing can come after it. So consumes the body, therefore nothing, no extractors can come after it. It's actually pretty fun. The way that works. I wonder if we can find that, or if they have like a good thing here about that. Because basically the handlers here all implement from request parts, except some of them which do from request. So the ones that consume the body are from request. Like for example, JSON from request. Path is from request parts or from request. It's basically both. And then in the signature, which we have to go find, maybe it's in handler. Handler like that. Yeah, I think this is it. Yeah, this is where it gets fun. So we see here for the handler that it's talking about like, okay, we're taking in all these things. As long as like this res must do, okay, no, that's response. Where is it? Oh, it's the T's. What's the M? I don't see the M being locked down. So like the M is there. From request, whatever that is. So it's a generic that works with from request, but then from request must define that a little bit better. Kumkuma, hello. Imagine you have a cats table and Axum route for this table, like cats ID. Now you need to add specific operation like cats make some specific operation. Axum fails to merge cats ID and cats make some specific operation. I solved it by using cat's ID instead. What will you do instead? So wait a second. So what happened? You have a cat's table and Axum route for this table. Okay, so basically you want to CRUD to like, you know, that table. And then you have the cat's ID, so you can like figure out which specific row in the table you want to manipulate. Now you need to add specific operations, like cat makes some specific operation. Axum fails to merge cat's ID, and then cats makes some solve it making cat's ID instead. Usually I do cat's ID and then whatever it is that I want to do. When you say merge, I'm confused about what you mean by merge. Are you doing something like a nested routes? Or like taking multiple routes and sort of putting them together? Also, good morning. How are you doing today? What if you make some specific operation does not affect only one row? I guess to me, I follow rest. So in rest, we would do something like, we'd have a route. We'll do like, okay, we want cats. Okay, I want cats. And this will be a post. Create cat. I want a route. I want cats. Get, and this is get all cats. It's gonna be unhappy with me because I don't have these route handlers. Route. We have, see, that's creates read. Okay, then read one. So cats / ID. Get one cat. What if you already have a post to cats? Well, I guess like to me is a post to cats without an ID is always going to be to create a cat. And so there's this standard called rest, and that's what it says is like a post. Well, a post in general means to create. So therefore, a post to cats means to create a cat. And therefore, that's all it can ever be, is a post to cats. Or sorry, is a create for a cat. Now, if you want to create something else, then that would be maybe like a post to cat's ID / something else. Might be whatever. But let's continue with this. So we have route, cats. How do I make this go away without having to just exit out and then it just immediately comes back, which is fun. So let's see, we did get for, so we get one update would then be next. Then this would be like a put to atomic update cat. This would be a patch for partial update. So partial update cat. Let's see, then let's update, then delete. This would be delete cat. And that, okay, so that's the normal rest stuff. And then if we want something more specific, like, okay, you want, Like what's an operation besides this? Like what did you want to do with the posts besides creating the cat? Then we can see if we can fit this in somewhere. Problem is you have two different requests for read table data. One with get to cats, two post to cats. Post contains more filter possibilities. Also post used for creation. Well, what's the other post? Like you have a post to cats that contains more filter operations, but is that like, are you talking about that being a get? Like you're getting a lot of cats using a post? Yeah, okay. So here's what we can then do. The idea in REST is that you can add more data with the URL itself and then add information to that. So we can say something like route cats get with like filtered get or something like that. And then this could be a post and like we'll do filter get. And it's that way you can send in a body what you want to do. Now, there's alternatives because of course there's always alternatives. So sometimes in filter, like if the filter is not too terribly complex, you could send them as query parameters, and then they can actually be gets, like true gets. And then if that's the case, then it could be part of this get or get all cats could also have query parameters to say, hey, let me get them all. So what would that look like in routes? This might be like if we have a pub async function, get all cats, we might have a query params. Maybe we'll do something like get all filters. There's a query. I need to actually create that. So pub struct, let's do get all filters. This is going to return a, let's see, what is it? It's going to be a JSON with a vec cat. I don't even have that. So you'll just have to imagine we have the cat model somewhere. So I guess to make that happy, we'll do a struct cat here. I don't think it will be happy because it needs to implement deserialize, doesn't it? Then your get all filters. This is now required, right? So we can make all the filter params required, or we can make them optional, right? Like that's an option we have at this point in time. So we can say something like order, like we want it ordered like, you know, A to Z, B to Z, whatever this is going to be. Like that might be a string. You don't know. However you're going to define this. We could have like limit. If you want to do pagination, this is like a really popular way to do pagination is put these in query parameters here. So limit, this would be like a U8. We have start or sometimes skip would be a U8. Is it something like open API specs? It's a good question. I wonder if it's in the... I wonder if there's something like that in the REST specs. The REST standard. There's a standards.rest. from APIs you won't hate, which I believe is a book. So I think it's trying to sell you a book. So I don't think that's that helpful. So like REST, I want like just like a list of what the standard is. There's RESTful API. Isn't there like a rest.com or something? There's a wiki page. That might be helpful. Huh. W3 actually just put REST into their thing. That's interesting. So they enshrined this. This is like a full thing now. Unless this is like something slightly different. Okay, possible solution for paging. Use query parameters like page for the page number and max page bytes. So basically they're suggesting query parameters for this type of data. So how do filter description routes look like? Let's see, do they have something like a get all? This doesn't really have much of like how it works. This is a very sparse document. It's not really helpful. Do you have anything here? Okay, you have a lot of history. I'm looking for where it's gonna like start talking about updated information. Okay, so we have the schemes. I don't know if that's helpful. Xenex, hello! How are you doing today? We have the difference between sockets and web sockets. Also, why serverless is bad. I know, nothing useful here, which is unfortunate. I know it exists. Because I've talked to people that work with this all the time, and they have told me about this, and that's where I've learned about it. All right. Sockets and WebSockets. So in computer systems, there's sockets which are, well, especially if we're talking about Linux systems or Linux type systems. Maybe I should say Unix type systems to be more specific. There are sockets which are special files, which are basically our connections to like things, so that they're not just like actually just a static file like text. They might be our thing to like a USB hub or a camera or something like that. So it's basically just like this open thing that's happening and data is passing through it. A web socket is a HTTP connection that doesn't close, that stays open, that data can freely transfer back and forth in either direction from a client to a server. So there is a pretty big difference between them. The answer to why serverless is bad is going to be different for every person, and I can't answer that for anybody. I don't hate serverless. I like serverless. I think there's a lot of really good things in there, and I think it can be overused. And if it's overused, it can become bad in the situation. But I'm not willing to say that it's bad. Okay, is there a search in here? Oh, this is just full Wikipedia, so that's not helpful. IBM has an article on it. Red Hat has an article on it. Oh God, IBM ruined everything with their CSS. They don't like dark vision. Hold on. Okay, let's search for filter. Query. Okay, so filter, query param, none of those things work. Okay, so fine. We're leaving IBM. Hey, you kind of ruin it, but at least you ruin it in a watchable, readable way. All right. How about query param? Filter? Of course not. These are like so high level of just like in general. This is literally all saying the exact same thing as each other without really saying anything new, which is unfortunate. What if you will support post to cats to create multiple rows? Make it cats create multiple. The way I've seen it in the past is cats batch. Like it would be cats batch, and then you send in an array of cat objects. I've also seen it as jobs. Oh, you know what might be good? Swagger. Swagger talks about this a lot. They might be a person to go to for it. Oh, right. They're the ones who wrote that book. It's Smart Bear. So Smart Bear owns it now, which is interesting. So I remember Swagger was like made by, who was it? There was this API company, and they were one of the few companies that had like a actually decent Postgres database that you can get with like a free tier online. And they got bought by Google. And then I guess Smart Bear bought or like broke off or something happened from there. I don't remember. I stopped following after Google's acquisition. But okay, so you have API design. So Swagger's an interesting tool. Best practices. So Swagger essentially is an implementation, like a GUI implementation for OpenAPI. So it follows that to a T. Like they're very like tightly combined. They're tightly integrated with each other. Requests, how to handle complexity. They have so many words. I have to actually read. Yeah, you can sweep properties and limit responses behind the question mark and a query parameter, or isolate specific components of the data the client is working with using a path parameter. Let's take the example of a photo sharing app. You want to limit the number of results and other stuff. So you could do something like get. Okay, here might be an example for you. So like this is a photo sharing app, right? So get all photos. And so that's just get photos, right? So this is the equivalent of get cats. And then you say, okay, well, I want to filter by location as Boston. So get all cats in Boston. I want to filter to get all the cats that have a hashtag of winter in their description. And I want to limit the number of responses to 10. And so the idea is that if you look at the route here, the route is still simple. The complexity has been moved to the query parameters. So I don't know if this like fully answers all of your questions. What if it's and slash or and well, if it gets complex enough where you really need like strong like logic like that, the alternative might be GraphQL. Or if you want to go even farther than GraphQL, you can go all the way to a GraphDB. Because like a GraphQL is not a graph database. It's not even close. It's like kind of sort of almost pretending to be a graph like interface to a non-graph database, but it's not at all. I haven't used a graph database, but like I've been reading up on it because I was thinking about trying to use it for work, and it's interesting. All right, Xilbe froze again, so that change did not work, which is unfortunate. Let's try another change. So my last one was disabling the buffering. Oh, my last one was not apply the rotation data. How about we'll use hardware decoding when available? How about that? You don't know about error handling in GraphQL? So error handling is interesting in GraphQL. So you lose a lot of goodness that you get with REST when it comes to error handling when we use GraphQL. With GraphQL, it's going to send back a 200 unless the error was with the entire server altogether. So if the error is in the query itself, you're going to get back a 200 OK with an error object inside, because you can have a partial success. So you could have like, okay, this part of your query worked and this one failed. So you could have data and an error, which sucks. Because that means you have to always check the contents of the body of what comes back, even if you get a 200 OK. Oh, cool. That froze the cat immediately. Xilbe, you want to face the camera? Or rather, I would like you to face the camera. Think it's a pain if you're using Xilbe? Yes. Basically, if you're using GraphQL, you write the full query in the front end and everything changes about this. You basically are not going to something like Axum with a normal route handler anymore. You're essentially writing the query. So that brings to another thing, which is, what if you, and I believe one of the new frameworks does this, and I don't remember which ones. What if you write the query that you want to do in the front end and you send that to the back end? There's a system for doing this safely, and I don't remember which one it is. So it's like SQL query in front end. send to backend web dev. Yeah, SQL injection system. Unfortunately, like, I want to say that my gut feeling is that opens it up, but there's one of the big, really, is it really popular? Who is it? It's like one of the. It's not. I don't think it's like Vercel's not a framework. What's the? What are the like common, like, I almost think of them like sub frameworks. Your friend was working at Google and he said he doesn't know what leak coding even means. Is it even possible? Of course it's possible for anybody to not know a specific thing. I mean, there's a lot of things there, like Xanax. Like, what if they're not like they may know it by a different name. Yeah, but Kukma, you never use LeetCode. I've tried it a couple times. I don't find it I don't like it. I'm only ever going to use LeetCode if I'm trying to find a job from a place that I know uses LeetCode in their hiring interviews. Well, so it's algorithms and data structures, but is it algorithms and data structures I'm going to use in my day-to-day work? No. But it is algorithms and data structures I'm probably going to run into if I try to get a job at some place like Google. Yeah, absolutely. So it's one of those, like, maybe. Yeah, so I don't remember who did it. I remember that there's this idea of doing this, and I don't know who it is. LeetCode challenge, make linked lists in Rust. I have seen so many painful comments about, like, hey, I'm trying to learn Rust, so I decided to do something simple and make a simple linked list in Rust. And, like, there's an entire book about how to do that, and it requires unsafe. That's not a way to learn Rust. That's what you do after you've learned Rust and you want to advance your Rust. So, like, can we do those things? Absolutely. Is Rust a good choice, like, as a beginner level to do that? No, I don't think so. I guess another sort of like a rant that I have with the entire algorithms and data structures. I wish there was more of a test on choosing an algorithm and data structure to use. Because, like, take a look at Rust, for example. If I were to hire somebody to write day-to-day business logic code, and we're building, like, web dev tools, we're building other things, I don't care if they can implement a hash map from source, like from scratch. I do care that they know, like, which of the tools, like which of the things to pull out. If they're saying, like, oh, we're going to use a hash map, or I want to use a, was like a B hash map or a hash map B tree, or I want to use, like, the linked list that we could get from, from inside of the Rust standard library, or I want to just use tuple types, or we're just going to use a vector of these things. I want to know that they can choose those things appropriately. I don't care that they can implement them from scratch. And same thing, like, I don't care that they can implement a sort from scratch, but can they choose which sort to use in which situation? That's really important to me. I want to say that there is one of the frameworks. So front end framework, like new, like maybe one of these. Yeah, let's take a look at this. Popular front end frameworks. I want to say that there's been one or more of these are now allowing you to do requests from the front end. Okay, not any of those. I don't think it's Svelte. Yeah, it's not Preact. It's definitely not Ember. Ember's on the list at number 6. That's surprising. Solid.js is still on the list? Oh, wow. Okay, that did not include as many of them as I thought it was going to. Okay, so I don't remember anymore what it is. I just remember there's one of them that claims to let you write SQL in your front end. You send it to the back end. It validates that it's valid. It doesn't, you don't get the injection attacks supposedly. And then you basically just run that on the back end to the database. It might be gets only, it might not be inserts, but that's like the general idea. Or maybe like you write, it might be sort of like a GraphQL situation where it's like a special language that you write that looks exactly like SQL, and then it's retranslated into SQL again, but this time with like safety. And then that's sent off. So like the front end can basically say, this is exactly what I want to do. And then you just sort of convert it. So maybe it's like sort of like a DSL situation. You think it must be a sorting algorithm, choosing better algorithm on runtime by monitoring data. Yeah, so we're having sort of like two conversations in there, but I guess Xenex, does that answer your questions? I guess it wasn't really a question. It was more of a comment from me. And Kukma, I wish I had something better for you. The problem that we run into in REST is that it eventually breaks down. It's really nice to just say, okay, everything is like semantic HTML, and it's okay. A post to /cats means you're creating a cat. But then you're like, okay, I want bulk. So that's a post to /cats /bulk. Okay, that we're like, we haven't broken it, but we've maybe like bent it a little bit. But then you start having to do things like, well, I want to do like, I want to like get things with like tons of filters. Now you have like tons of things in your query parameters, and eventually you just like, you know what? Screw the standard. I'm going to like do something like, I'm going to do a post for a get or something like that. In the end, all that matters is that your API is usable by whoever's using it, right? And if that's only you, if it's just you creating the front end and it's not a public API, then that's fine. But the second that it starts becoming a public API, then things get really rough, because there's expectations to be set, and you probably want to pick a standard and just stay with it. Okay, so you'll Google batch REST API request standards. Yes, that's the best that I can recommend, is like try to find some standard out there and just like follow it as much as possible, And then when you diverge from it, document it for whoever's using it really well. If you use Swagger, which I do like Swagger, I've used it several times for documenting APIs. They have a good way of sort of like of just putting in comments, say like, hey, this is not normal, but like this is how we've solved this problem. It is fine. All right, let's come back here. Let's do, okay, so absolutely, yeah. It's part of the live stream is answering all these questions. It's sort of like a combination of like the what some people do is like the office hours, and then just also we're doing some work. So happy to answer. This can be positioned anywhere in the route handler's signature, as long as anything that consumes the body is last. For example, oh wait, is it double? It might be double underscore. Yeah, okay, there it goes. Anything that consumes the body is last. For example, the JSON extractor consumes the body. Therefore, no extractors can come after it. An easy way to tell if an extractor will consume the body is to look at the, so I think it's the trait. Can we see this? This is the trait handler itself, but I think we can actually just go take a look at JSON. Right here. Is there... Ah, perfect. Okay, so I can link directly to that. So, is to look at the documentation for the extractor. For example, the JSON extractor only implements from request. Which will consume the body. Query, no, path. So path okay, let's go find path. So I want extractors, extracts, I find it so confusing to try to find specific things here. If I'm trying to just go through their documentation. Okay, let's go. Wait, do they have path in here? Not really. And it's back to 1 again. Okay, never mind. Look at path for extract path. Okay, here. And then That's going to be the trait implementations. We can see from request parts. Here. So path implements from request parts. Therefore, it can go in any order. It can go in any order in the route handler signature. All right. Next up, let's say we have 2 of these. So another common pattern is to do 2 ones. We have feed cats. Let's get rid of these so it can make you happy. Let's head back to here. Let's get rid of all of you. Okay, so we have our dispenser ID feed. So let's change this. Let's say that we want to do something like we have dispenser with the ID. So this is dispenser ID, and I want to feed cat's ID. So I want you, so dispenser 5, feed cat 4. So I can't name that. This is gonna have to be like, this is gonna be cat ID, and this will be dispenser ID. What if they're both I64s? How do I know which one I'm getting? Let's play around with this. So feed cats. We have path ID is this. Now I want to say that this is going to be both of them, right? So this is going to be. Can I do that? Is it? Oh, it wouldn't be 2 types. It would probably be like a tuple type inside of here. Like I64. Where then we have the dispenser ID. So this will be dispenser ID is that. Yeah, I think the order matters. And so I'm doing in this order, right? But we'll see. It's not yelling at me about it there. It's not yelling at me about the other area. Let's try running this. That compiled. We used insomnia. Okay, so I want to do a get This is going to be a get to, oh no, it's a post to dispenser. Okay, here, I can. We'll just do that. Copy paste so I can't screw this up. Oh, and cat froze again. Okay, so post to that. Dispenser ID will be like 15 and cat ID will be 25. And that didn't do anything at all. Did I? Like, you're all saved, right? I got a 200 okay. No response. I'm going to local host. You're running a port 3000. Okay. This is a route for post to go into feed cat. The tracing. Oh, right. We had this. This wasn't working. The tracing debugs weren't doing the thing that we wanted to do. So it's actually, there might be something else going on. I am tracing subscriber you. The tracing init works at that point. Does this have to happen like down here, like right before I use it? I don't think so, right? Yeah, I'm going to localhost. It's not like I'm somehow going to someplace else. So yeah, I totally forgot. I need to. The first thing we needed to do was actually like fix this up. So let's create a very basic. Oh, you know what? I'll do. I won't do this. I'll close you. Okay, let's go into routes feed cat. Let's do a pub. We'll just do another function here. So async function. This will be so like call it meow. Nothing will happen, and I'm gonna do a debug. Yeah, this is equivalent of a hello world, right? I guess we can have it return a string. Oh, we can have this return a static string. There. Okay, so I'm going to debug and then meow. We head to library. Not library. We head to routes and we add in a route. So route / meow. It's going to do a get. Which of course it doesn't know what that is. For meow. So I want to do grab meow out of there, and then routing post. Oh, no, not that one. Okay, so we do a get there. So you're happy, okay. All right, let's do a new. How do I do a new? Do I just change it? Oh, I do a new like that. New HTTP request. Okay, so I want to get. Okay, so I get meow back out of here, and then we get the debug meow here. Okay, great. Now, let's add in a tracing. Debug of a meow as well. So that's not working, which means that I have forgotten something really important when it comes to tracing. Can any of you guess what it is? I just realized what this is. Why this isn't working. It's stupid. I forgot the down here. I forgot the Rust log equals debug environment variable, which I'm just so used to. I'm so used to when I create the Xilbe tabs that I just automatically add them in. So if I do that, there is my debug meow. Okay, so now if I run this post again, dispenser ID is 15, cat ID is 25. There we go. There we go. Okay, I did get it my first try. I just completely forgot that I needed the environment variable and that I hadn't set it for this. So now, I mean, I want to automatically set this, but I don't know if I want to put this into my .zshrc. Because, like, do I want it all the time, or do I just want it when I want it? I don't know. I don't actually know what I want to do for that. So I'm gonna let my like subconscious percolate on that for a little bit. But okay, what does this mean? We use a tuple. We use a tuple, and the order matters for these types, right? So if you were not an I64, but you were a string. So for example, if the cat ID happens to be a UUID, why are you upset about that now? Oh, you're upset because string is not a real thing. That's a real type. That's why you were upset. Okay, so let's say we have a number ID, and then this is actually something like whatever. Then when I hit this, we say, okay, the cat ID is this big, long, fake UUID, and then the dispenser ID is that number. So that's how we can have multiple types in there. So all right. Let's add in another section for this. Maybe like a subsection. So this would be 4. So multiple. What if there are multiple IDs in the multiple captures. What if we wanted to capture multiple path segments, multiple path segments? For example, let's say that the dispenser could also dispense for a specific cat. We could update our route definition to be oh, I don't want that meow in there. Okay. All right. So now we have actually don't know. Could we get away with them being exactly the same thing because it's order that matters, not anything else? Like it doesn't actually, I don't even know if it cares about this. So if I were to say UBID and UBID, would you have a problem with that? That compiles. Okay, that compiles, and so then we have dispenser ID, cat ID here. So does that just work? Is that just happy? That is still just happy. Okay, cool. Yeah, I don't. So there is no other web server that I've ever seen that this would be cool with. Every other web server is automatically taking a look at the path. They're taking that colon name, and then they're injecting that into an object that then they're passing to you later. So they're basically auto-generating something for you that you can then use that as a key to extract the value. But because we're using a tuple type and it's the order of them that matter here, it doesn't matter what we name them. They can be literally anything at all. They could be the same things. And Rust is just, or specifically Axum is just like, whatever. Who cares? Everything's cool. So I don't recommend it. So I'm not going to teach that. I'm not going to let anybody know that you can do that. And please don't, because you'll get confused when you just have like IDs are everywhere. Which idea were we talking about? Just be specific. Bytes are cheap. Okay, so we could update route definition to be this. We were updated a route definition to be this way. We can have as many, or I guess like I don't know if we have to have as many of them as possible. We'll then need to update the route handler to be aware that there are two. I will need to update the route handler to be aware that there are two segment captures. We can pass in, we can tell the path struct or extractor to use a tuple type and give the types of the IDs in order. Let's say the cat ID is a string. That means that our route handler will now look like this. Hi, Nathan. How are you doing today? Good morning. You're going to be at RustConf in Albuquerque next week. Oh, nice. That should be fun. I've only attended a Rust conference remotely. I've never been into one in person. So it sounds like a lot of fun. And one day I want to do it. One day I want to go. It's been years since I've gone to any kind of programming conference now. You never understood how tracing debug works under the hood and how it knows full path of input request. So I know that John, who hasn't done a full crust of Rust on it yet, he said he's going to, but notice that this is in a layer, right? So it's in middleware. And in middleware, you get access to the full request. So we could imagine, without actually having to look inside of it, if we're running in middleware, we have access to the full request, including the full path, that we're able to just grab all of that. Now, what's interesting is that they also can tell us what's in the body if we want. And I don't think it will do that by default. I think it will just say, let's see, what do we get here? We get, so the request started processing request. Okay, so that's it. Oh yeah, that's another thing you can do. In middleware, you can basically have a before the thing runs and then after it runs for each route handler. So that's fun too. So you can say, okay, we started request for this path. And you like all these things are available to you inside of the middleware. So when we get to that lesson, we can chat about that. And then this is from the actual routes that we have, and then back to Tower HTTP. And it's like, okay, then finish processing. They do have this latency 0. So I would guess that they're putting in some kind of extension behind the scenes to put like, oh, how long is this taking? Like we start on this time. Let's go ahead and like wait. And then later on, it's like, okay, how much time has passed? It's been less than a millisecond. It's been a nanosecond or so. And therefore it then does the thing. How middleware works with macro, what you calling in the scope of route without importing anything. What do you mean? How middleware works with macro. Are you talking about, well, which thing? Are we talking about the route or a route handler? Oh, I guess like middleware works with macro. Well, because I don't think there's a macro here, right? Tracing debug. Oh. Got it. Like how tracing itself works. How it's doing that. That's how do I want to do this? So tracing could be used separately, right? So let's go make a really basic. No, not that. I didn't want go away. I want that. Let's rename you to tracing. Let's play with our new. We're gonna do a cargo temp. I want tracing. Okay, so add this in here. I believe this means that we have tracing, right? We have literally any version of tracing. Cool. So let's head over to main. And I guess here, so start with this. We have print line, hello world. And then I want to, that demit. Okay, so we're over here. All, okay, fine. So I want to go to cache, cargo temp. Yep, that one. Okay, so here we are with you. I want to do a cargo expand. Can I do a specific file? Oh, do I not have cargo expand? Okay, I don't have cargo expand. Am I thinking of the right command? Yeah. Okay, so it is this one. This one should be fairly popular, right? Oh, it's not horrendously popular, but it's not being used in CI/CD either. So it's cargo dash expand. Cargo install, cargo expand. Xilbe, you froze again. Okay, what's next that we can play around with? We can try this audio setting. Okay, now we have this. If you've never seen cargo expand, it's pretty cool. We're gonna do cargo expand. I'm gonna see if I can give it the name of the file. So we're gonna do source main. Okay. Maybe not. Cargo expand. So options item. Item, local path to module or other named item to expand. Well, maybe this doesn't matter because I don't have anything else. So maybe we could just do cargo expand. There we go. Okay, this will be fine. So this is what we start with, right? So we start with this and we just have the hello world, which this is, or sorry, we have the print line. This is what print line actually looks like behind the scenes. This is what the macro is doing for us. Okay, great. Let's head back over to here. And let's change print line to tracing. And we'll do a debug and we'll say hello world. and we'll cargo expand you, and it's a little bit more. It's doing a little tiny bit more stuff here. All right, so what's happening here? First of all, it creates a block. So it creates its own block to sort of contain itself. It then has like, okay, so use tracing, so it brings in stuff. Yeah, a little bit. It creates a static call site variable, which then itself is another block. So its type is this. I don't really know. I don't remember. We played with macros before a long time ago, and I forget what that syntax is for. Use and then nothing ... or sorry, : . It's doing nothing, you think? Okay. That's equal to another block that then is another static meta. So default call size, static metadata, which is a static. You try to remove it and nothing changed? Oh, that's fun. Tracing core metadata new. Okay, so it creates a metadata, creates a new metadata with the information that it needs. So it knows that it's on main line 2 now. So remember, a macro sort of expands at compile time. So at compile time, it's able to know, okay, this was created at line 2 of main, which was right here. Or rather, we can just see that right here. So all of these things are what metadata takes in. So it grabs all this information. Then it creates a new default call site with the meta. So that then goes into the call site. So now we have a call site. So basically it sounds like call site is basically just information about where this was called. So, line 2, file main, some other information too. Enabled. So here it's saying, hey, look, we're tracing level debug. So is tracing level debug. So if that is less than or equal to the static max level, and tracing level is debug, which is then less than to whatever the current filter level is. Now, all of this, I want to say, is basically just we're sending a debug message out, but tracing subscriber is going to make the decision of whether or not it's going to print it out. So we're just saying, hey, we're in debug. Like tracing subscriber is going to tell it, are we in debug or not? If we're enabled, then, so value set, okay, so we have a closure here. Now, interesting, it's a closure. It's not going anywhere. It's not being set to anything. And then, is it a closure that's immediately being invoked? Is that something that can happen? Oh. Okay, so if I do something like this, you're going to be upset, right? I want to unused closure that must be used. Okay. If I do that, try not to call a closure in the expression where it is declared. Clippy's not happy with this, but it lets me do it. I didn't realize we can do this. Let's not do down. Let's do down. Let's go there, and we'll do a cargo run. Yeah, take a look at that. I had no idea that we could do this in Rust. That's pretty cool. So you could create a closure and then just immediately evoke it. I don't know really why we need to do, like why this is, something we want to do, but maybe it's some compiler optimization, possibly. So in JavaScript, we used to do self-invoked functions all the time. Self-invoked anonymous functions, they were called ifs. And they were super popular as a way to enforce some kind of like memory safety and some other fun stuff. But here we have block level like variables. So we don't need that. That being said, there might be something else going on where they're deciding to do that. The fact that you can do that though is pretty fun. So you can add this to your, like, I don't know. Clippy's really unhappy with this though. Like Clippy's like, why are you doing? Don't do this. Like literally, it's Clippy understands. Look at this. Try just calling the code you wanted to call. Okay, so then use tracing debug, display value. Okay, so basically we're just grabbing this information out. So we're inside of here and we have another block. So it's multi-lined value of, no, this is what's being passed in. So value set, we're passing in this. Try expand on Axum route tracing debug. That will, you think it's going to be different? I think it's going to be the same. We come here. Let's open up something down below this. So you want this one, or you want the route handler? Or do you want, oh, you want the tracing debug. Okay, got it. You want the middleware stuff. I understand now. The route, you want the middleware for, you want this layer, right? Or do you want the debug? Oh, you want feed cat. Okay, got it. I need to remember how to do that. Can I tell it specific files? Just write the path. Okay, I thought I had tried that before, but maybe I didn't. Do cargo expand. So if I do source, routes, feed cat, not an identifier. Is there without source? Ah, okay. So no, it doesn't like that either. Do I have to have a slash on it? No. Expand only this package's library for --lib. I don't know about that. Targets for the triple. So target triple, which compiles, will be for. Doesn't seem right. Target directory for all generated artifacts. That doesn't seem right. That's like an output directory. I wonder, can I cd into source? Cargo watch? No. Cargo expand vcat? No. Invalid path segment. It's interesting that it's a invalid path segment. Yeah, we could try bin lib, but I don't think it's gonna do anything. Yeah. Only in cargo toml directory? Okay. Sure. Okay, we'll do cargo expand lib feed cat. Ah, okay. No such item, feed cat. Interesting. So can I do bind feed cat? Available bind. Okay, so there's only available bind targets. So Axum Path. So basically all I could do is Axum Path. Like that. Okay, fine. We'll just go find the specific one. So this main. Feed cat doesn't give me anything in there. I'm confused about that. Okay, hold on. Let's just try Axum expand. Huh, this is what it sees as feed cat. Just that. That's not helpful. I have things in there. I have an expansion in there. Yeah, feed cat has like tracing debugs. It has all sorts of stuff. So all it sees is this. It doesn't see like everything else. The library, it didn't work. Cargo expand path without source. Okay, let's try that. So cargo expand. So this would be what, routes? feed cat. It doesn't like that. Invalid path segment. Yeah, so it is routes. So it's specifically it's routes feed cat rs. I guess we can rs. But yeah, it doesn't like that. And I'm surprised that cargo expand doesn't see anything inside of feed cat when I tell it to do. Xilbe froze again. Okay, so nothing's worked. Let's go back to defaults. Sure, defaults. Oh. Huh, interesting. So it completely... It lost the camera. When I did defaults, it had nothing. I wonder if my OBS is weird. Because that sounds like the exact same thing that's happening with my mic too. There's a Rust meetup in Boulder this month. Interesting. I need to check. Somebody had asked if I would run a meetup for Rust in the Denver area, and I said yes, and then I haven't heard back from them. So I don't know what's going on with that. I should probably follow up and see what they were still planning on doing. So cargo span something something. Oh, colon. Oh, okay. Let's try that. So cargo expands. This would be, so assuming from lib, so we'll do lib. Wait, I guess I don't think the lib works for mine because I don't have a library. But it would be like routes feed cat feed cat. Because if I try live like that, ooh, that worked. All right. Okay, here we go. Thank you. Thank you for that. We finally figured it out. We do have a bunch. So, okay, as a reminder, here is what feed cat looks like. Let's actually go. Oh, I don't have that open over here. Feed cat looks like this. We have immediately a tracing debug, a tracing debug. That's it. 2 tracing debugs right after, one right after the other. And I guess that's what we're looking at, isn't it? So here's that call site meta stuff that we saw before. So it's the full tracing debug that we saw before, but it feels like it's a little bit more now. Yeah, it feels like a lot more. Because this one is all the way down to here. And there's our actual message. Where's the route URL? I don't think this is going to take a look at the... Oh yeah, that's just the name of the file. The route URL? For what? This is just debugging. Okay, so this one is specifically debugging which one? It's debugging this one here, isn't it? Yeah, that is interesting. I'm curious though. I bet it's that. So let's have this running here and let's re-hit this. Yep, that's it. The tracing HTTP middleware is adding all of that. Because otherwise I just get this. Your first ever look at the REST observability. I don't know if this is like, I don't know if we define this as REST observability, but like deeper dives into REST, maybe like a good way of saying it. It's interesting. What if we want to parse logs? What do you mean? Like, I guess, like, what do you mean by parse logs? Which parts do we want to log? Which logs do we want to parse? Because it could be these, and we can parse these just fine, right? Because it shows me where the shows where everything comes from. So we see the app, we see the path to get to here. So clearly what's happening is that tracing is doing a little bit more, right? So how would we know what type of info would middleware layer generate? Okay. How would we know what type of info middleware layer would generate? So that we might have to be a little bit more fun about that. So what's... Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. So we're gonna do expand routes. We want routes, create router. Okay, this is just the normal create router. It looks right. We re-enable this. Interesting. Okay, so we have to go take a look at new for HTTP. So, all right, delving time. Do I have my... I don't even have my Splunking hat. Hold on. I want to get my Splunking hat. I've owned it for a long time and I keep on forgetting to use it. So, I'm going to go grab that. Which doesn't have any spiders in it, so that makes me happy. So here, our spelunking exploration hat. Here we go. Here is what new for HTTP is doing. It's returning a self, which is going to be a trace layer for the shared classifier server errors as failures. Interesting type. There's Axum support in AWS, you think? Oh, wait, I missed stuff. The day of the grind for you is the Spring Boot environment, lots of built-ins. I haven't used Spring Boot. I've heard mixed things about it. You'd love to see an opinionated Rust service layer on AWS EC2. I mean, it's EC2, right? So you could just install Rust on there and it'd be fine. So I guess I'm not sure I understand what you mean by that. I mean, it's just a web server, right? So any web server will work with any kind of thing on AWS EC2. All right, so new for HTTP. It returns a self, and a self has all of this stuff. So if we want to go to a self, here's trace layer. So it has an type. Oh, these are okay. So our types. All right. So here's what this is. We have a make classifier. We have a make span. On request, on response, on body chunk, on EOS, and on failure. Oh, you want to see a monolith architecture in Rust. Yeah, EC2 is not really relevant to that specifically. A monolith architecture in Rust. Are these all private types? And we can go take a look at it. Oh, that's a public type. I mean, yeah, we don't really have like any huge ones yet. Like no Spring Boots, no Rails, nothing like that for Rust yet. But something like Rocket is attempting to do something like that. Like at least it's that's the closest thing that I've heard of that's like actually usable right now. I'm sure we're gonna get some more eventually. Oh, wait, no. Doesn't like Leptos or something do that? Something like that? Well, Shuttle would be the deployment system, right? But not the actual like full monolith architecture. Because you can't deploy and run Shuttle locally. Yeah, that's just like what you deploy with, right? So. Okay, so it's basically storing all this information here, right? We have all of these. You know what it is? I bet it's not. I bet this isn't it. My guess is that tracing subscriber mixes the two of them together. That's interesting. So Nathan, thanks for hanging out. Have a great rest of your day. Okay, so if I do that, and then we also, oh, what was it? It was, I need to do my export for a debug, and then we do a cargo run here. All right, so I get my debug and hello world. If I do a second debug, so tracing debug, does it combine the two? No, it does not. So I wonder who is doing that. I don't know who's doing that. Dev Spahas, raiding with a party is 17. Welcome, 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 Dev Spahas and raiders. How you all doing? Have you passed through the Twitch advertisement firewall yet? Hey, Dev Spahas. Welcome, 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 raiders. How are you all doing today? How's your stream? You never saw a single Twitch ad? Oh, well, congratulations. Welcome. The problem is I have no clue. Like, there's nothing that Twitch tells me at all. So like there's no good information, which sucks. So that's awesome. I've not been running them, so that's just Twitch deciding to do that. That's cool. How was your stream? What are we working on today? Stream was good. You're doing some tutorials, but it's already late and you're tired, so time to chill. Nice. Excellent. It's always nice to like sort of like have that sort of like chill time after doing some fun hard work. What were the tutorials on? It's wait, you've been working on the 3D stuff, right? Or am I thinking about somebody else? 2D game. Okay. Oh, wait. Yes, I remember. Okay, I actually saw. Did you sponsored some streamers to play the game, right? I think I saw some people playing it. It looks really good. And I remember adding it to my wish list. Oh, the publisher did that. Okay, I guess that makes sense. But anyways, have a great rest of your day, and have a good night. And thanks again for the raid. Everybody else here who is hanging around, we are exploring some Rust, and we've been doing a lot of web dev. Right now, we're doing some exploration stuff, hence the exploration hat that I'm wearing. We're looking at tracing things. So basically a tracing, if you're not familiar with Rust or tracing, tracing is a library that allows us to have these type of debug statements in our code. And it's a little bit interesting because tracing here allows it to say, okay, I want to debug this message out, but tracing subscriber is what's actually going to print them to the screen here. So I could have tracing debug and not tracing subscriber, and then nothing will happen. It won't print out. And if we take a look at down here, in Axum, tracing subscriber is doing this interesting sort of mix together where it's combining two different tracing sort of messages at the same time. And we can't necessarily figure out why that's happening or like who's doing that. Like, is this really, because like we can see like, okay, here's an actual message coming out, but then here's the other tracing debug message that I have right here. which is making me think that it's this right here. I want to go to here. This tower HTTP trace layer. My guess is this thing is mixing them together into a single message somehow behind the scenes. But we were exploring through it by taking a look of, okay, here's new for HTTP. This creates that, but then that's going to be, it's going to be like a full layer. So if we go to self, go to this. Okay, so here's the trace layer. There's going to be a impulse for this. So we have impulse layers. We have, oh, here's like, okay, look at that. We have on request. Yeah, so I bet it's this thing. So impulse trace layer for the on request thing. So on request. So a tower request comes in, and remember, behind the scenes for pretty sombrero. Thank you. I don't think it's actually a sombrero. I think it's closer to like a cowboy type hat type thing. Like the top is, I mean, I guess like they look similar enough to that. What does it say in here? It says, it literally doesn't say anything about it. It's just a hat. And let's see. New on request. Okay, so we have trace layer on request. New on request, on response, do the response. So it would have to be like on the response, right? Because that's after we've gotten the thing. But I'm not seeing any code here. I don't know where it would like do that. Here's the on request, but it's just setting, oh, because it's a full, it's a full impulse. So we have like creating it there, but like new, set default level, include the headers. Then there's a macro here. There's that finished processing request. I don't know. I would probably have to do like a really deep dive into it to figure out exactly what it's doing. I don't know if we have time to do that right now. So it's definitely interesting. There's definitely interesting things that are happening, but I don't think I can answer that for right now. I would be interested in watching when John does the Crest of Rust for tracing to see if it talks about that or if it has that or if there's something else going on. Complexity, yeah. If I search for Combine. Okay, so if I'm doing like a global search for like combine, I don't know what other words. If I put in like themselves. Oh, okay, look at that. It's not searching. Oh, in the namespace, it's not going to search inside of here. Oh, that's too bad. I was really hoping that like I can search for everything inside of here, but I guess I can't. A global search is only going to search for my code stuff, not everyone else's code. Well, that's too bad. All right. Well, anyways, let's close all of these. What we've been working on is a lesson article. So I'm working on a course for Axum in Rust, and I've been writing a lot of articles. And then once we write the articles, I then do a video, like sort of very focused on that article. The last couple days, we've been focused on just sort of writing this article out here and figuring it out. So this one is for extracting path variables inside of an Axum route. Out of curiosity, because I think DevSpahas is using C++. What is it? Unity or is it? So that's C#, right? Or is it C++? I don't remember the framework anymore. I remember mostly looking at the game and looking pretty fun because I like a lot of the colony sim type stuff. Let's see. We have. All right, so working on if there's captures. That's wrong. Captures. Captures. I literally wrote the same bug second time. Okay, we'll then need to update the route handler to be aware that there are 2 segment captures now. We can tell the path extractor to use a tuple type and give the types of the IDs in order. Let's say the cat ID is a string. That means that our route handler will now look like, and then this. Okay. So then notice that we added that. I should probably just put the full thing in here, right? Oh, no, I need to. Okay, notice we added the parentheses dispenser cat and cat ID so that we can destructure the data directly out of the path in the signature. Then the variables can be used. I guess I could be more specific with arguments. Then the arguments can be used as normal. Xanax, you're really happy you chose the way of programming. You know what I mean? You found a happiness in life. Oh, that's really good. It's super good to be able to find something that makes us happy and then do that. All right, so we add that, and I don't really think that there's anything else really to go with this. I think we're pretty much done. So what's left then is, I guess, to record this, or we could. Do I have time to record it? I don't know if I have time. Actually, this is probably a short one. We could probably do it pretty quickly. Let's see if we can set this up. It's going to be the Axum route, which we can, or Axum Path, which we can update. Okay, so cargo, Tamil, what's in here? Axum error survey, this error. We don't need that. Tokyo, tower HP, tracing. Okay, so all of those are good. In the library, I think all of this is good. This is fine. Like, nothing is special about this. Okay, so up to there, that's good. Main has nothing special. Feed cat. Okay, yeah, so we're gonna delete the feed cat file. So that's which means in routes mod, we're gonna get rid of those two. So we just have the router like that. We don't have you, and we don't have you. Okay. And then you're got some warnings. We don't have you. And feed cat. Oh, yeah, you're just not in a path anymore. So you're gone. So we're going to buffer close all. Buffer close all. Okay, so you're happy. Let's quit out of you. We want to turn you off as a server. Move you over. Okay, so everybody out of the pool. We are going to open up VS Code here. We have been using VS Code for all the videos. Maybe someday I'll have all the these I guess they're not really edited videos, more focused videos will not be VS Code. Maybe someday. Okay, so we have this, and then I think we're good to go here. Stacking, you're hitting 105 today. You're knocking out of the pool. My high is going to be 90. And for those of us who are not in, America, that is Fahrenheit. The Celsius for our temperatures would be like we melt and our houses light on fire. So thankfully that's not happening. Okay, so we have all that stuff. We're ready to go. We're going to talk about path. Our objectives for this video. Describe the segments of a URL. Describe what a path variable is. And then extract the path variables in a route handler. You didn't notice I have a YouTube channel? I do. Do I have a command for that? I do, yeah. Okay, it's right there. Yeah, so I have a YouTube channel. I put all of these streams are archived over there. So if you miss them, and then also, what is it? It's I have a couple courses that I put on there for free, which are basically just playlists of these type of, not, again, I don't really edit the videos. I'm not very good at that. So instead I just focus the videos is probably a good way of putting it. And those videos go way back. Like I have videos from before I started Rust even on there. If you wanna play, like, take a look at some really old stuff. All right, let's do this. So I want to turn off. We're gonna turn off that. Okay, desktop audio is off. So it's just mic, just us. Oh, and then I can turn on for the timer. We'll turn on you. Excellent. All right. I'm going to go into recording mode, which means, well, actually I could put recording like that. So I will kind of most likely not respond to chat while I'm recording, but this shouldn't last too long. I try not to have these videos last for more than like 10 minutes or so. So we'll see. The question is, will I be able to do this successfully first try, or not? So here we go. Let's chat about path variables and how we can extract them into our Axum route handlers. But first, before we talk about that, let's talk about like what are even path variables and what is a path made up of. Let's just open up a file here. So a path looks like something like this, right? So we have https:// we have our domains like localhost, we have our port, and then the thing that we're interested in today, which is going to be the path segments. So this is going to be something like, well, I don't know, let's say we have a cat feeder that we want to feed cats. We have we have specific cats. So this would be a segment. And then if we have like an ID for that, that would be another segment. So each one of these between the slashes or at the very end of it, anything before like a query parameter would be a segment. So cats is a segment and this is a segment. Now this one's going to be interesting, right? Because what if we're going to have an unknown number of these cats, right? And we want to be able to handle with a single route all of these. So I want to extract this into a variable to handle. I don't want to have to create like 100 or 100,000 or an infinite number of these route handlers to handle different cats. So instead, we're going to use a variable with this. And this, I believe, there's no like sort of standard for naming this. So I really like Axum's method, which is we're going to capture what this route, variable is, which is, we're going to say something like that. That's exactly what it's going to look like. Let's go ahead and create a route handler to sort of handle this for us. So we're going to go into routes. I'm going to say new file. Let's do I'm going to call this cats.rs. We are going to mod cats. All right, do a pub async function. Maybe in this case, we'll let's show get one cat, right? So we want get one cat. We don't do anything in here right now, and I want to I'm going to show this part off first. So I want to create a new route. We're going to have this be cats, and then I want that : ID for which specific cat this is. And we're going to use a get for this, which of course I can't find what that is, so we'll deal with that right now. Import get from Axum routing get. There we go. And I want to use cats get one cat. There we go. Okay. So this is now in our entire route. We can now hit this. It doesn't do anything for us, but you know, we want to get this specific ID and extract that out. So we've done the hard work here in the routes file. We've now told Axum, okay, there's going to be a route. It's going to be cats and then something. We don't know what that thing is, but we want to have access to this later. So back into cats here, and I'll open this up. Oh, hi, my cat wants to say hello. Part of the video. Sorry about that. In this one cat, if I want to extract out what the cat is, we're going to use a path. And there's a path extractor for us that we can use. So we're going to use this one right here, which comes from Axum extract. And it's a struct just like the JSON extractor is. So we can now extract this. It uses a tuple type, and we just want the, ID from this. Now the type for this is going to be path and then an I64. And so then we want to, let's say we want to like just print this out. We're going to use a tracing debug, and let's put in that cat ID is ID. Hi Xilbe. Nope, sorry, you go down. All right. So if we do this, let's go ahead and open up our terminal. I do have to make sure that I have the Rust log set to debug. So let's make sure that's set. So export Rust log, set that to debug. Let's start our server. So cargo run. We are running, and let's go ahead and hit this now. We're going to do a get to cat /15. And we see here cat ID is 15. So we've got it. Okay, great. Now, what if we want multiple of these? What if we want to say, okay, I want I want cat ID, but I also want like something else too. So like I want cat ID, and then I don't know, another thing. So like we're gonna get a cat ID, and then maybe like our cat has a really nice collar on it or something. So this is gonna be maybe collar ID. Now if I do that and I hit save, everything's gonna be fine. If I rerun this, okay, everything still compiles. We're gonna come back to our cats here. This is a little bit hard to read. Let's put this down. I put this down below. Let's I don't need release notes. I don't need you. There we go. This is gonna make it a little bit easier to see. Okay, so we have cat ID is that. Now to extract the other type here, we're going to turn this into a tuple. And Xilbe is super demanding right now. I make this a tuple with like another type here. So this could be, for example, a string. And we just over here, this ID now it sees, hey, look, that's a tuple type. Let's destructure this right here. So we have ID and maybe collar ID. So cat ID is that, and we can just copy, paste this. We can say collar ID is caller ID. And in our get request here, we can say cats that, and then we can put a string in here, just like that. Pretend this is some kind of UUID. Hit send. Number of path segments. Wrong number of path arguments for path. Expected 1, but got 2. Did I not save this? So I saved you, right? And I saved you. Oh, wait, did I restart the server? I didn't restart the server. That was what the problem is. And so now I can see, okay, color ID is this, and cat ID is 15. And that's how we can extract both the things together. So, and that's it. That's how we can extract information from the path. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye. That was a lot of meowing from Xilbe. I'm probably gonna have to re-record that. Because that was pretty bad. But I wanted to at least like go through it and like at least practice the entire thing and sort of see how I felt about it. ABD, hello. Sorry I couldn't say hello during that. I started recording right before you came in. Yeah, I do VS Code for the sort of like these videos in the course because I'm assuming that most people that are going to be taking the course are going to be on VS Code. So I just want to be familiar to them. I don't want them to like look at Zellige and Helix and go like, ooh, let's focus on that. So story time, that actually happened to us one time. We were teaching, I can't remember which of us it was. One of us instructors showed Vim, and the entire lesson got derailed because all the students, all they wanted was for us to help them set up Vim at that point in time. Because they're like, oh man, it's so cool. You got all these things. It's like, it's in a terminal. Let's do that. It's like, we're trying to teach you about like, something in JavaScript. It's like, no, we want you to learn that. It's like, no, I want to learn about Vim. This is clearly what's going to make me better. I know what's going on. And that ended up, it's like, okay, let's just not distract people with that. He does want something. So he went back and forth. He first went to the wall and he potted the green screen. And then he went into the closet and he potted something in there. And then he knocked this ball off the desk. He walked across the desk. He got on my shoulder. He walked over to the window. He was I think what he wanted was I don't know if you can see it very easily. So I have a closet behind me. It's mostly empty, but up above there's an empty shelf. He really loves going up there recently. Before every stream, he wants me to pick him up and put him up there because I don't think he thinks he can jump it. Yeah, sometimes beginners focus on that stuff. You notice that while you're with some beginners telling them how to do something, all you focus was your Vim motions and VS Code. Exactly. It's kind of funny how that happens. I think that it's a form. So I have no evidence of this. I think that it's a form of procrastination. And the procrastination form would be the pain avoidance. So learning something is painful mentally. Like it doesn't feel like pain the way we know it to be pain. It's pain as in like there's fear of failure. There's fear of like, what if we get it wrong? What if we don't understand it right away? That's all like some kind of pain that we can have. So if you see something really cool, your brain is going to say, ooh, that is not pain. Like this is this is dangerous. This is like pain, danger. This is like something that's like, could cause problems. That is like shiny and like safe. Let's go and focus over there. And so our brain is like, we, and like goes and looks at that. Of course, if you actually start like turn the lesson into like, now do this stuff, they'll be like, ooh, I need to do my dishes. I need to like clean stuff. Like, have you ever had that happen where you have something really hard that you're gonna do, and suddenly things that like you hate doing are now interesting to do? And like, ooh, I totally want to do that. I totally want to do this thing that I find really boring. It's the most interesting thing to me right now. That's our brain trying to avoid danger. And that's because our brain has a really bad sense of what actually is dangerous. It literally can't tell the difference between learning something and putting yourselves in mental danger to get better, and like, ooh, we might get stabbed by, I don't know, a lion wielding a knife outside. You cleaned up your desk just to not study calculus. Yeah, that sounds familiar. All right. I am going that video to me was funny because I finished it, and Xilbe was just super loud during the entire thing. So I'm going to keep that video. And I'm going to rename it. Where is it? We're going to rename this. This was Axum Path. Xilbe loud. And then I don't know if I'm ever going to like use that in anything, but it could potentially be an outtake of some kind. Uh, I am just going to throw this into my recorded and not even upload it to anywhere. That's funny. Uh, all right. It is 8:41. Let's update my plan for tomorrow. Let's see, where am I? I am in. Okay, so we're in Playgrounds, Axum Path. I don't want to be there for this. I want to be. It's also. Yeah, I did make some changes on my other profile. Okay, there we got that. Let's go. Let's do a GitHub set that. So I want to. This is going to be, okay, so we're going to change this. Our new plan is, record video for, I wonder, can I do something like this? I'm curious. Record video for Axum Path. Can I do a second thing? Then choose next article to write. Okay, so if I write that, then down here, yeah, okay, that works. So there's our plan coming up. Excellent. And then you, yeah, I did save that. That's good. You're good to close you. You're all good. Everything's happy about this. Yeah. So it gets really weird about, I may have to stop using some of these like auto creators or like auto layout things that run commands in them, because it gets weird when I close them and I tell them how big they need to be, they sometimes don't close until I close some other ones, and then they suddenly close. And then just everything gets odd and weird. So I don't know how much I like that. All right, so we'll clean this up and we'll deal with that again later. But in general, I think that went fine. I'll probably just do the same thing again tomorrow. Let's see. That's that. We're good to go here. Is ToggleBit actually still streaming? ToggleBit is not streaming. Just my Twitch was not up to date. Is there anybody that I'm following that's streaming right now? Raimu is streaming. Yeah, Raimu is streaming. Let's we've rated Raimu a few times. He's on day 20 of the WGPU, eGUI, and Rapier learning. So let's go ahead and set up a raid for Raimu. For me, I need to turn off the that timer too. Disable you. Okay, there we go. Everybody, thank you so much for hanging out. I do these streams every weekday morning at around 6 a.m. Mountain Time. And I stream until around 8:45, until around this time. And we've been really focusing on writing this course for I guess not really introduction, but like Axum and Rust. So let's do a raid to Raimu. Raimu has been working on is also doing a lot of Rust and has been focusing on some like 3D graphics and other stuff for a game that he wants to make. And really just for like learning how that all works together. So if you're interested in that, Raimu's doing some really fun, interesting stuff. So with that, have a great rest of your day, and I will see you all next time. Bye.